All right, picture this. You wake up tomorrow morning, you roll over to check your phone, and the top news story isn't about politics, it's not the economy, it's an emergency announcement from the global astronomical community. And no, they haven't found some fossilized microbe on Mars, and they haven't picked up another vague, repeating radio signal. They have definitively found a hyper-advanced alien megastructure. So, what exactly happens to humanity if this actually becomes our reality? Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to break down the immediate, the terrifying, and the completely awe-inspiring aftermath of what we're calling the Great Cosmic Awakening. Now, just to be totally clear, we are not talking about a blurry UFO video or some wild internet conspiracy theory here. We've got to ground this in the reality of our source material. Imagine actual, peer-reviewed data coming straight from our most advanced space telescopes, unequivocally showing a completed Dyson sphere. We're talking about a massive, artificial geometric mesh of solar collectors spanning millions of kilometers, literally designed to capture the entire energy output of a sun. So, what happens to us when the proof is absolutely undeniable? Okay, let's dive into this. The very first, most immediate effect is that human history would instantly, permanently fracture into two totally distinct eras. There's the world before confirmation and the world after confirmation. Everything we thought we knew, our entire collective worldview, would just be shattered in a single morning. There is absolutely no going back to the way things were before that data dropped. Now consider the number 1,000. Even if this star system is 1,000 light years away, the implications are just staggering. Because of how light travels through space, seeing this structure today means we're looking at something that was actually finished 1,000 years ago. But even with that vast distance and that massive time gap, the psychological shockwave hitting Earth, it would be absolute, and it would be immediate. Section 1. The Cosmic Reality Check. The Death of Human Arrogance. So this discovery instantly obliterates centuries of our own pop culture narratives. I mean, we've spent decades telling ourselves stories about aliens coming down to invade Earth or, flying in to make peaceful contact with us, always basically assuming that we are the center of the story. Well, the reality is vastly different. A Dyson sphere isn't just a big space station. It signifies what astrophysicists call a Kardashev Type 2 civilization. Let's really pause and think about what that actually means. To build a structure that entirely wraps around a star, a civilization has to physically dismantle entire planets just to use them as raw building materials. That is the sheer, mind-bending scale of engineering we're dealing with here. And this brilliantly illustrates our new place in the universe. Think about humanity right now. We are currently pouring immense effort and billions of dollars just struggling to send a handful of astronauts back to our own moon. Now compare that to them. Dismantling entire planets to build a star-wrapping cage. We would have to collectively reckon with the incredibly harsh truth that we are at the absolute bottom of the cosmic technological ladder. Actually, scratch that. We aren't even on the ladder. We aren't the main characters. We are literally just ants looking up at an unfathomable, gleaming skyscraper. Section 2. The Geopolitical Panic. The Race for the Sky. If you're thinking the nations of Earth would suddenly just hold hands and unite in peaceful harmony at this discovery, well, the data strongly suggests otherwise. The immediate planetary reaction would be intense, highly paranoid, and fiercely competitive. We'd see a multi-trillion-dollar scramble unlike anything in human history, because this data instantly becomes the ultimate national security priority. Think about it. Even though a civilization 1,000 light years away doesn't pose an immediate military threat to us today, the information radiating from that star system is priceless. Superpowers would frantically race to decode any stray electromagnetic or laser communications spilling out from the megastructure. Why? Because whoever decodes it first gets to monopolize the most advanced, universe-altering secrets imaginable. The sheer scale of this panic would trigger a ridiculously rapid reallocation of defense budgets. Conventional terrestrial weapons, your tanks, your aircraft carriers, standard missiles, would suddenly seem completely irrelevant. All those massive budgets would be instantly poured into next-generation space tech. We're talking about crash programs to build massive deep space tracking arrays, orbital quantum computers specifically designed just to crack alien encryption, and highly experimental interstellar probes. The crucial takeaway here is that the very definition of global power literally shifts overnight. Before the discovery, power was all about terrestrial military might. But after the discovery, the primary focus is entirely on advanced physics, revolutionary material science, and unimaginable energy secrets. The nation that manages to scrape even a tiny fraction of this knowledge from the sky wins the ultimate prize. But what happens when that initial frantic panic actually begins to settle? Section 3. The Existential Legacy, Our Silent Neighbor. As the years turn into decades, the frenzy of this wild new space race would give way to a really bizarre new normal. The reality of the megastructure would just sort of seep into our daily lives, bringing with it this quiet, slow-burning, ambient existential dread. Imagine opening your laptop and the internet is just flooded with 24/7 live telemetry feeds of the structure. It would be constantly humming in the background of our lives. Our entertainment, our literature, our art, and our deepest philosophical conversations would become completely obsessed with this silent neighbor in the night sky. We'd go about our daily routines, buying groceries, commuting to work, while constantly feeling like we're being watched over by the ghost of a civilization vastly superior to our own. Every single time you walked outside and looked up at the stars, you'd be reminded of this powerful quote: "Humanity is living in a crowded universe operating on borrowed time." Knowing the sky is no longer an empty void fundamentally changes what it means to be human. The night sky transforms into a mirror, and when we look into it, it reflects our own tiny, fragile, and suddenly deeply unified insignificance. I mean, our borders and earthly squabbles look utterly pointless under the shadow of a Dyson sphere. Which leads us to the ultimate, inescapable thought. The big question isn't just about how they built it or, what materials they used. The question that is going to keep humanity awake at night for the rest of our existence is this: where are they now? If they possess the godlike power to dismantle planets and completely reshape an entire solar system 1,000 years ago, have they already left their star? And if they have, are they on their way here?